Welcome to another episode of OG55. I got Drew, the Disney dude, back in the house. We're talking Star Wars, Galaxy's Edge, a lot of changes, earth-shattering changes, really, for this land. We're going to talk about it. We're going to go on some side quests, talk about all kinds of stuff in regards to Disney, maybe some Disneyland. We're going to break it down. Up next, I got Drew in the house on OG55. Welcome aboard, everybody. Drew is back on OG55. How are you doing, Drew?
Hanging in there. I guess for anyone watching this, I guess I'll get this out of the way. Like, if you guys have realized that I've been posting stuff in the parks, it's because I hurt my foot, but we're almost getting back to the point where I can walk normally. Thankfully, right before Cinderella Castle's repainting begins and Dinosaur closes. So I guess those are the big things that people really care about. So I'm happy to at least be there for those. But as we're recording this, Tron's limited time overlay is about to end. So we're kind of starting on this next wave of things here at Walt Disney World. And like you said, we're about to start talking about side quests. Like, before we have like a list of topics, but now I've realized when we just talk. So here we go.
Yeah. We'll just kind of meander, do our thing. Yes. And Drew, where can everybody find you on social media?
Yeah, you guys can find me everywhere: Twitter, YouTube, Threads, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I think those are all the major platforms. I don't use Snapchat. I hate Snapchat. But yeah, Drew the Disney Dude. I've been trying to cover more things, like do more original content. So if you want to support it, be my guest. And as everything happens over the next few years, I'll be one of your people.
Yeah, no, 100%. Support Drew. Really good dude, and he does a lot of great content. I'll be linking his information in the description down below. And hey, we're turbo. The parks right now are turbocharging, so it's a perfect time. It's a boom. You know what I'm saying? It's a perfect time to follow Drew the Disney Dude. We are absolutely turbocharging. Speaking of turbocharging, we do have this news the other day, which, man, this was crazy, Drew. It says here, beginning April 29th, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland Park. And we'll get into that. I do think Florida is going to get some love here, but we'll talk about it. At Disneyland Park, we'll expand its timeline to include more Star Wars eras. Darth Vader, Leia, Organa, Han Solo, and Luke Skywalker will arrive on Batuu, joining other beloved characters roaming the Outer Rim outpost. Rey and the Resistance will continue their fight with the First Order in the Resistance camp over there by Rise of the Resistance. And my favorite part, musical selections from John Williams. Star Wars film scores will be played throughout the land. I'm telling you right now, Drew, the music alone, walking through this land and having the John Williams stuff, if they did nothing else, I think that would make a huge difference with this. But what are your thoughts? When they dropped this, I mean, it was huge. Our community was going nuts.
Yeah, it's funny. I will say this is a rare situation where I literally just ripped exactly what Disney posted it because I did not have a heads up on this coming. And my goal was to get it out as quickly as possible the second I saw it on Disney Parks blog. So I literally just copy and pasted all 4 of those paragraphs, took the pictures that I already had on my phone and posted it. So that's how I got it out within 1 minute of the announcement. But I agree. Honestly, it's like, as a Walt Disney World local, I've seen so much about, I want this Walt Disney World, which, yeah, that would be great, obviously. But we'll get into why I think that's not happening and when it could happen. But I fully agree. I've never been a fan of Galaxy's Edge, with the exception of Rise of the Resistance. If the music just came to Walt Disney World and that's all we got, I would be happy with that. I've always felt the Galaxy's Edge just feels dead. Like I'm just walking through a place. There's no energy. There's no atmosphere. Like, yeah, I can appreciate the rock work and the effort that went into it. It's just not my cup of tea personally. I'd just go on Rise and walk out and head somewhere else. But it's awesome. I think it's a great start. I don't think it's enough in the long run. But I do have a theory on why they're doing this now and where it might be headed. So we'll dive into that a little bit.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, a lot of fans wanted, and this might be a little controversial, but that's okay. A lot of fans wanted direct lifts from the movies, right? They wanted a Tatooine, they wanted a Hoth. Now, I agree with you. I think the land itself, the kinetic energy is abysmal, right? Yeah. And I think a lot of that is due to the fact that this land is 15 acres, but was designed to have banthas and another restaurant. So I think when they cut those things out, but they kept the same scope of the land, it was like it felt empty because, well, everything that was designed for it wasn't put in it, right? So that was that. But in terms of like copying Tatooine or Hoth or these other locales, the reason why I'm actually against that is because I think this is actually one of the reasons why I think Super Mario World or Super Nintendo World at Universal isn't like super great. No pun intended, super great. Because when you go verbatim off of film stuff, sometimes it works, but a lot of times it doesn't. Honestly, Tatooine would be a miserable experience in Florida. I mean, no trees and just heat all day with mud huts, right? Even Hoth. I mean, you don't really have trees there. I mean, it's all, So I think they needed to create a theme park friendly, logistical friendly Star Wars planet where you can have shade and stuff, that different kind of landscapes to kind of work in the real world. Super Nintendo World kind of falls flat because they don't have any real trees in that land. When it's hot, that yellow painted cement hits you right in the face. It's really uncomfortable. I think that's kind of like the problem, the pitfall you kind of get into when you kind of just take something verbatim from like the screen and bring it into the real world. Now, in some cases it works. Hogsmeade is just like a London little street. So you can do that, right? But it's kind of case by case. You can't do that with everything. I think Star Wars would have been really hard to do that with. So I think they were fine with that. But you're right, though, Drew. I mean, the kinetic energy has been the problem since day one. And no music. I mean, the music in Star Wars is a character in and of itself.
Yeah.
How do you know music,
I will say, I think Cars Land alongside Wizarding World is perfect, too. Like, I love that they just ripped Cars Land and put it right in the middle of DCA.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think it's a great start. Like, the first thing that came to my mind is better late than ever. Like, they're finally doing it. It's almost like they didn't want to acknowledge that what they wanted to do just didn't work, and it took a little while to get that like out of, I don't know, maybe there was people who just didn't want to like give into their vision. But at the same time, like their vision was never able to fully come to life even when this land first opened. So I don't think it's their fault. It was just we kind of got the remnants of what they were allowed to do, as we all know, under a former CEO and chairman who didn't allow the Imagineers to really do what they wanted to do by any means. But thankfully is no longer with the company. But yeah, I hope that it's received well, because I think that that's what they're going to wait to see with that internal guest data and feedback before they make more commitments to maybe even another new mission to Smuggler's Run down the road after The Mandalorian and Grogu come. There's no doubt that that's going to be a success because it's the frickin' Mandalorian and Grogu. So obviously that's going to do well. But I don't think they're going to greenlight another one, or maybe they already have and we just don't know yet. Then also like with Rise of the Resistance, how if you look at like the Art of Star Wars books back for the original Place for Galaxy's Edge, at one point they were working on original trilogy stuff for Rise, and they just switched to the sequels. So I'm sure those plans already exist somewhere. It's just a matter of pulling the trigger. But I've seen a lot of people talk about like, well, this is a good start, or why not this, why not that? Again, I think that when Disney's going to commit to those major decisions, you got to wait to get that feedback, see how people react, especially with Disneyland being such a locals park. That's not a shock by any means to any of you people near Disneyland, but a lot of those decisions come down to what the locals react to. It's getting people to come back, getting those annual passes, or the magic keys, I should say. That's why we see so many things happening at Disneyland where Walt Disney World is more chill, because they just don't have to. My hot take is I think Disney's doing plenty right now at Hollywood Studios, and we don't need this right now, but maybe we can talk about that next.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so basically, you kind of feel like this is sort of like the Disneyland decision, right? It's sort of a testing ground, kind of see how it shakes out, and then if it proves popular, then they'll bring it to Walt Disney World. I mean, I agree with you on that. I think I feel like it's kind of inevitable that it will come to Walt Disney World. I'm assuming it's a success, which I think it will be.
Yeah.
But you guys will get it out there almost certainly, right? I mean.
I think so. But going on to what I just said about like, I don't think they have to do it right now. It's because like we're getting Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets. You have Monsters Inc. Land in development. We're getting the magic of Disney animation. We are getting the mission here, like the Mandalorian Grogu mission. Like that is coming here. So Hollywood Studios is getting the most this year. Actually, it's Magic Kingdom's getting a lot this year, but Hollywood Studios is getting a little bit more. And I've said this many times, but like I was not expecting Hollywood Studios to get this much investment 6 years after Runaway Railway opened. I thought it was going to be like another 4 years. So they clearly understand that Hollywood Studios needs this. I think right after all this stuff wraps up, we're going to see even more come to Animal Kingdom, even after the Tropical Americas. But like right now, if you think about Disneyland, like the hype for the 70th is gone. No one talks about the 70th. It's in the past. The news cycle just moves that quickly now. You're
Yeah.
seeing Disney do these ticket offers. What string do you pull to get people to visit Disneyland in the summer? Bam, Galaxy's Edge change. Do you need to pull that string to get people to go to Hollywood Studios this summer? No, you do not. So again, smart business choice. Do it down the road. And again, another hot take here. I'd actually rather have Walt Disney World not get something first here because they can make even more improvements to when we get it.
That's a fair point.
I'm okay with waiting a little while to getting a better version of something. I think that these teams work a lot behind the scenes, and even the Imagineers have talked about it before when they're cloning a ride. If they make a discovery during the development of the attraction, then they'll go talk to the other team to improve it. That's exactly what happened with Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. I was actually at Hollywood Studios in 2020 when that attraction had first gone vertical. The Disneyland team actually flew out here and did a walkthrough after park hours with the Imagineers that worked on the Florida version to make those improvements to the California version. So this is obviously nowhere near as big as a Mickey Mouse ride coming to Disneyland. It's just a few characters being added. But I think there are ways to improve it. Especially like you said, Chris, how Galaxy's Edge was going to be a lot more, and now it's this big land where you have those gaps with atmosphere. Well, all those stages and platforms still exist. So what's to say that you can't have all these characters interacting in some show in the future to take it one step further than just, Darth Vader walking around looking for Skywalker? There's ways to take that storytelling even further. And I think even take some of that DNA from Galactic Star Cruiser. I did not go on the Star Cruiser, so I can't review it by any means, but it was very highly rated from what Disney had on that, again, internal guest feedback. So why not just take some of those same ideas, that same DNA, and bring it to where it's not behind a paywall for once, just during the normal guest hours. Like that would be a pretty cool thing if we could just do it for the people who are just spending money for the day, not dropping $400 to come in for 3 hours. Like that would be cool. So a lot of potential here, but I think those are my initial thoughts.
Yeah, no, huge, absolutely huge. And I like the fact that we're still keeping, I have right here. I like that we still have sequel trilogy stuff. I know the sequel trilogy is a hot button issue, but I
like them.
I like them too. I do. I like the movies. I like the characters, and it's part of Star Wars. I mean, and that was my biggest thing. My biggest thing was with Galaxy's Edge wasn't that it was like they had sequel trilogy stuff in it, because I mean that's Star Wars. I mean that is part of the saga. But my issue was the lack of everything else.
Yeah.
So it's like it's great to have Rey. It's great
just
to have
make it one big melting pot, and then we're all happy. Maybe.
Exactly. And then have a little Vader in there. I mean, dude, I would even like some prequel action, some Anakin Skywalker rolling through. I mean, you could do a lot with it. It's a big enough land too that you can really separate this stuff, like kind of what they're doing here. They have the OT over here by like by the Falcon. They got more sequel trilogy over here by Rise of the Resistance, and you can kind of separate this stuff so it doesn't really interfere with the show. But I absolutely love this. Now I do have a theory, Drew, and I want to kind of bounce it off you.
Fire away.
I might be off base here. But I definitely want to ask you what you think. We've talked a lot about it, you and I both here on the channel. It's looking like Josh D'Amaro is going to be the next CEO. He is the guy. He is that guy, and he's making all the right moves right now. He really, really is. I kind of feel, and I could be wrong, I kind of feel like he's already been chosen. And there's a little bit of like him making decisions as CEO, but like not officially. And the reason why I say that, and this is like OG with his tinfoil hat, right? But like, because we see a lot of these like quinky dinks, right? Where it's like, okay, we're getting major Galaxy's Edge changes, which I mean, 7 years in the making, right? Major Lucasfilm changes. Like Kathleen Kennedy is just left. We got Filoni and Brennan now running the show. There's a lot of big changes occurring right now at Disney. And it's right when Iger is sort of like the lame duck CEO, and it's looking like it's going to be Josh. We saw that big Wall Street Journal article, with the Imagineering stuff.
Phenomenal article too.
What was that? I'm sorry.
It was a phenomenal article. I love that article.
Dude. Amazing. So I kind of feel like he's been chosen and like low key kind of make a move. Now, again, that's just my theory, but what do you think?
I think it's more of a Kathleen Kennedy thing, personally. I wouldn't be shocked if behind the scenes Josh was involved with like knowing that Filoni was going to take over Lucasfilm, and that's when they were like, all right, it's time to pull the trigger here. Because I think back to like when they are together, and it's usually at like the big events like D23 and South by Southwest. South by Southwest is coming up again, so maybe we're going to get more stuff in a couple months from now. But I feel like on stage every time it was always Filoni and D'Amaro and Favreau announcing the park's decisions. And if Filoni has had some power behind the scenes even before its official announcement, maybe that's where the ball started to get rolling a little bit sooner than us finding out officially. I do think that, I mean, obviously at this point, Disney knows what they're doing with the CEO thing, whether it's Josh or a co-CEO of Dana and Josh. I'm hoping we get that announcement on the earnings call on February 2nd. Is it the 4th or the 2nd? I don't know. It's coming up soon.
Yeah, I think it's the 2nd, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it's the 2nd.
Yeah, I think it's in and around
I
there.
fact check myself. Let me look real quick.
Yeah,
I'm checking Scott Gustin's Twitter because he always posts these. Even I rely on Scott for what it's worth. Scott, I like following Scott. I'm a fan of Scott. Yeah, it's 8:30 a.m. Eastern on Monday, February 2nd. I'm hoping that's when we get the CEO announcement and that they do some like big interview push on like all these main channels. Like I feel like all the channels that like cover Wall Street and like the stock reports usually get those interviews with Disney's people. So I'm hoping that the announcement is made and then we get those interviews alongside and maybe see like the vision for what the next CEO is. I also feel like something that even like I'm overlooking is like Bob Iger is still CEO through the end of this year. So there still is a transition period. But I'm also okay with that because this year is a critical year for Disney parks. And I am 100% okay with Josh D'Amaro still having a lot of time dedicated to these parks. Yes, he's going to be worrying about becoming the CEO and branching out into the other segments of the company. But if these projects get off the ground to where you cannot go back at that point, that is all we need. All we need is that steel to go up. We just need him to get like 50% there. So and I guess the more I think about this, if Josh becomes CEO, then he's even more likely to invest in the park. So that's not going to matter. That'd be more like a Dana Walton concern, but I just don't see it happening. I do want the co-CEO thing. In my opinion, the best scenario is co-CEO. But if it's just Josh on his own, I'm not going to be upset by any means. You've been expecting that for a while now. But we'll see. But I guess to answer your question, I would not be shocked if that's more of a Filoni thing, and they just knew it was coming, and that's what gave them the confidence to pull the string because they don't have to worry about what Mrs. Kennedy says anymore. But again, we don't know. We don't know.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's wild to me. I mean, this land has been open since 2019, and we're getting right, and we're getting exactly what the fans wanted, and it's cool. I mean, I'm all for it. You know, I actually really like it. So we'll see. Now we do have Mando and Grogu coming to Smuggler's Run.
Let me cook here.
Go ahead, Drew.
All right,
go ahead.
So I've not talked about this anywhere yet. Again, this is a massive theory. Please take this with a massive grain of salt. But this is also something that, Chris, you know, I'm very passionate about. Is the Disney times Epic Games thing, right? So Disney has officially confirmed that this Mandalorian and Grogu mission at some point is going to impact your experience in the Fortnite universe, launching at a later date and vice versa. So when you go on the ride, you're going to have some sort of impact in Fortnite. When you're in Fortnite, it's going to have some sort of impact when you go on the ride. Again, we don't have any specifics, but that's a big deal. It's a very big deal. Pay attention to what I'm about to say.
Yes.
I think that there's a small impact on this change happening now so that when this Fortnite universe launches, they can put all these characters in Fortnite and it's in canon to Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland. Ooh. Think about it. When you're trying to promote your Disney parks to these kids on Fortnite, there's going to be millions of people playing this mode when it first launches. So that first launch window, it's going to be critical to this mode's success. What better way to promote your Star Wars land with Rey, BB-8, R2-D2, Darth Vader, Leia, Luke, Han Solo, all of them in the Mandalorian and Grogu. So they're kind of packing all of their A-list Star Wars characters in Galaxy's Edge. And now by making it canon to Galaxy's Edge, you can put them in Fortnite to where it all aligns, to where if you see them in Fortnite, you see them in the real world. So I think that, again, that's a small part of it. But even like to your point earlier, Galaxy's Edge is laid out in sections now. If you think about a video game, you're making your way through the world and you unlock new parts of the world. So when you first enter Galaxy's Edge, you're going to see Rey in the Resistance section. Then you go to the Marketplace, you see the Mandalorian and Grogu, Boba Fett, Fennec Shand. And then you make your way to the Millennium Falcon, you see those other characters. So it's perfectly staged, just like a video game. And again, also the fact that the rides are going to be connected to this universe, We'll see. But
No, I think you're.
I
I
have a
think.
video that I'm thinking of doing titled "Is Galaxy's Edge changing Fortnite, or is Fortnite changing Galaxy's Edge?" I just think it's a real possibility here. And also, again, I have to pull up the tweet here because this was a while ago, but no one's talked about it since. So last year, Epic Games had this massive Unreal Fest, and it's basically like the D23 of Epic Games, where
Right.
they're talking about like the future of Unreal Engine. Unreal Engine is this real-time rendering tool that's what's going to be powering this new version of Smuggler's Run. It's going to feel like a brand new ride. Like the level of smoothness and reactivity, absolutely insane what they're doing. I'm more excited for this than I am just about anything with the exception of Buzz. But at that, if I can get my phone to load, I always love when I'm trying to pull something up, and this is what I get on Twitter. The little spinning, little blue wheel of death is what I call it.
Every time.
They revealed that Galaxy's Edge is coming to Fortnite. It is. Oh, here we go. I got it. So this is a finished. Okay, I've got the blue wheel of death again. Come on, man. Come on. All right. This is Galaxy's Edge in Fortnite. You can see the Millennium Falcon. It is a one-to-one recreation, and that's coming to Fortnite. So we already know that Galaxy's Edge is coming to Fortnite. How hard would it be to throw those characters in?
Oh well, and not just that. Isn't the now because they renamed the whole division Experiences a few years ago.
Yeah.
And they tied in, they bundled the products into that whole thing,
which falls under this puzzle. So it's all one team.
It's all one team.
Yeah,
it's all one team.
And guess who was on the Epic Games board overseeing all this? Josh Tomorrow. What a coincidence! Ooh,
what a coincidence!
I think the day this will be out before. What's today? We're recording this on January 19th. I think on January 30th. I'm going to upload a YouTube video. The biggest thing I've ever done, Disney times Fortnite, everything. Like, everything. So be ready for that one. But
yeah,
if there's any video you will ever watch that I do, please watch that video. I'm begging you, please. I want this video to, if this video doesn't do well, I'm going to cry. I'm putting so much effort into this video.
No, Drew does amazing stuff. You dropped a video. I think it might be your very last video that you did actually about the Big Thunder changes with the Buzz Lightyear changes.
Yeah.
And I did a reaction to that with a buddy of mine, theme park conductor, and it was great. I loved that video. I love that video. Yeah. Well, and here's the thing: a lot of fans are kind of, and we've talked about this before on OGVD 5, and I think you even mentioned it in your video, but I think a lot of fans are sleeping on this stuff, man, because it's like it's not a new attraction, right? It's just plussing, but
it's not this $500 million shiny toy, so I don't care about it.
I don't care, but it matters though. And here's the thing, Disney, honestly, I mean, here's the thing. They showed, I mean, in my opinion, a lot of restraint. They could have took Big Thunder in an IP direction if they wanted to. They could have done that, and they're not doing that. They're just giving us an expanded plussing of the current thing, and that's cool. We complain as fans a lot about, oh, there's so much IP, there's so much this. Well, they're not. They're putting a lot of money into Big Thunder, and none of it has to do with an IP.
Yeah. And my favorite thing that I was like, oh, it's Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, and the first scene you're going to hear a giant crack of thunder. I feel like that's a cool angle, but I don't know if I'm Disney, I'm promoting that. If I'm Disney, I'm talking about these new game modes coming to Space Ranger Spin. Game modes, plural. Crickets. Chirp, chirp. But yeah, no, but a new Valentine's Day food item drops and cover it.
Oh my gosh. No, I'm with you. Yeah, exactly. The food stuff is crazy. Everyone loves the food stuff.
I don't get it.
I don't either. I really, really don't. And it's like, these big things, Big Thunder, and even Buzz. Buzz is not my favorite attraction, at least at Disneyland. But the changes coming to Florida are exciting. And I love the new animation for that one scene.
So good.
Dude, and you talked about in your video where it's like they animated it like for like a curve or something.
Yeah, like they developed some new software in-house at Pixar to where they're animating on a flat surface, but they knew exactly where it was going to look on the dome screen. Like there was like the, what's the word I'm looking for? But like whenever you open your camera, like the grid, like it has like a grid to where you're animating it flat, but then when you project it, it curves. I'm like, how? I'm not going to pretend I understand how they do it. I don't care. I'm just glad it happened.
Oh no,
I will
absolutely.
enjoy the fruits of their labor very much in hopefully the first week of April. I'm thinking that's when it's happening, but we'll see. I don't
Fingers
know.
crossed. Fingers
I
crossed. Now,
I
what do
just
you? What,
I think it's gonna happen, Chris. I think it's gonna happen. I'm manifesting April 5th or something around there.
we're doing it. We're doing the law of attraction. We're gonna manifest.
Summoning circle.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Now, I want to ask you though, because okay, you guys are getting a big upgrade. You know, out here in California, we're not getting that. I mean, our
Or R.I.P. Buzz.
is that what you're thinking? R.I.P. Buzz?
I wouldn't be shocked, man. I wouldn't be shocked, but at the same time, I feel like every time there's some rumor of something happening to Tomorrowland that can knock out Buzz, it just gets canned. No money, no budget. There's something that happens. I don't know. I just don't see Buzz lasting at Disneyland because Disneyland is tight on space. And I feel like that's something where they could just retheme it or throw in something new and it could get people to come to the park. Like, you look back at Mission Breakout, that was such a quick turnaround time, get people to the park. I feel like you could do something with Buzz where you just get rid of it and do something there. I don't know. But yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. I feel like the one thing that could have saved both, or not, I guess ours is saved at this point, we know that. But
Yeah.
the thing that could have saved Disneyland's is if Lightyear did well and they'd already spent money on it, but Lightyear was crap and it bombed. So I guess I'm glad it did because now we're getting a better version out here, right? Like we're getting it based around Toy Story 2, which I'm all for. So we'll see. We're even getting Buddy the Robot. Like, heck yeah, original characters. Let's go. Let's go.
Let's do it. Let's do it. No, I love that. I love that because, you know, I feel like Imagineering is like giving us originality where like they're kind of getting in where they can, where they can get it in. They're kind of they're giving us that originality, whether it be the Big Thunder updates with a little bit of that story in there, or you know, Buddy the Robot over there. You know, they're giving us these tidbits of originality, which hey, you know, I mean, I'm cool with that. Now, speaking of Tomorrowland, I want to bring this up to you, Drew, because this actually
ties into what we were just talking about.
Right. The Tokyo Disney Space Mountain.
Sick photo. That's the concept art with that's spot on. Damn.
Isn't that great, dude?
That's cool.
Yeah, this is courtesy of at GameFan0627 on Twitter. But like this kind of makes me, you know, it's funny because we talked a lot about it here on the channel. Drew, you and I both, many videos. The fans get like mentally married to like the nostalgia stuff, right? Yeah. And they don't like change. For the most part, fans don't like a lot of change. Tokyo was like, you know what? We're gonna bulldoze our Space Mountain, just level that thing, and we're gonna rebuild it and make it all new. And you know what? Honestly, it looks like it's paying off. This thing looks
so badass.
Oh my god!
Right now, give me that here right now.
I'm telling you, and I feel like, and maybe I'm wrong. I want to get your opinion on this because I feel like a lot of times, especially probably even more so out here in Anaheim than out there in Florida, but sometimes the nostalgia like chains Disney and like holds them back, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like if they ever tried this in Anaheim or Florida, the fans would go crazy. Oh, you're gonna bulldoze Space Mountain? How dare you? You know what? Go ahead and bulldoze it. Oh, I mean, Walt Disney probably would have bulldozed that thing 4 times by now. You know what I'm saying? I want this. Yeah, I want this. This looks amazing. And you know what? It still looks like Space Mountain. It still has the essence of the attraction, but it's kind of like that, more like that John Hench original artwork kind of. It's that vibe. But man, I love this, and I wish we can get out here in this. Yeah. Right?
I keep cutting off. I'm sorry, but it's genuinely one of the most beautiful structures to where you can tell immediately what it is. Like anyone who is familiar with Disney knows that Space Mountain, but it has this like modern, like a spaceship that just, it looks even more like a spaceship than what we had originally. But honestly, I feel like if I'm Disney, I'm keeping Space Mountain and Magic Kingdom because I think ours was the original, right? We got ours first.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, like I think you keep ours because it's the original. And I would do this at Disneyland because I think Disneyland needs it more.
Yeah, I would agree. Our Tomorrowland, Drew, is you've been.
Yeah, anchor it with that. Like,
oh, incredible. And I mean, speaking of that, we saw that Wall Street Journal article. We were going to get a new Tomorrowland. And Chapek was like, nah, no ROI, baby, you know?
Yeah, but you know what we do have, Chris? You know what we do have?
What's it?
Concept art in the hub, baby.
Oh man.
The permanent art display that will never go anywhere. We should just start memeing on it. Maybe if you know what, maybe I should use my influence to have people start taking pictures with that concept art and blow it up so much that Disney is forced to do it.
No,
Just everyone take a selfie with the concept art until management gets so frustrated that people are talking about it, and then they'll do something about it, right? The evil queen goes viral and they let her go. Like, no, no, no. So let's get back at them by taking pictures. There we go. That's 200 IQ plane. Boom.
let's do it. No,
There
let's
you go.
absolutely do it. Yeah, Tomorrowland at Disneyland. I mean, our Tomorrowland is struggling. And here's the thing. I mean, we've had multiple movies, which, you know, to be fair to the park, I mean, you could have utilized Lightyear, like you said. It died a dog's death at the box office. Not well received. What was the other one? Strange World.
Strange World, yeah.
Didn't do well. LEL didn't do well. Even the new Tron movie didn't do well.
Yeah, Fantastic Four didn't even do as well as I'd hoped, quite honestly, and I really enjoyed it. The ending felt a little too predictable, but I did enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like Disney, I think low key, like Disney has some plans for like like our Tomorrowland and probably even your Tomorrowland out there in Florida.
I think ours is going to get retracked once some things start to open. I think that's what's going to happen. But I'm okay with that. I think what they're doing at Big Thunder is going to happen to space because Carousel of Progress is going to have more people at it. So why not? Because like you have Tron is done. People are going to love Tron for decades. Carousel of Progress doesn't have a ton of people at it. Buzz doesn't have a ton of people at it. The only remaining piece of that pocket is Space Mountain. So I feel like no one's talking about that either. How everything around Space Mountain is getting it touched up and updated, except for Space Mountain itself. Again, the only thing preventing that from happening is that Frontierland is a giant pit of dirt, and we need that capacity right now. But it'll happen at some point.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. And you guys are getting a lot of love with the Carousel of Progress. Yeah. You guys are getting Walt Disney, which I'm telling you. Have you seen the Walt over here in Disneyland yet, Drew?
I have not.
I mean, it got a lot of heat on social media, as everything kind of does. But like honestly, honestly, I loved it. I did. I loved it. I think just having it there is like the biggest hurdle. Like once we have it there, the AA is going to get improved over the years.
Yeah.
You know.
Again, that's why I'm okay with us getting it second, because I'm hoping they've seen the feedback and they're like, all right, improve it. And then they debut the updates here, probably in 2027. Then you do it at Disneyland in 2027. That's my hope.
I hope so. I really, really hope so. Now we saw that new technology from Imagineering, like the it was like these. I saw like the testing where it was like projection map faces.
Yeah, it's trippy.
I mean, really realistic. Do you think that it's possible Florida gets like that tech for Walt, or do you think it's going to be the traditional?
Yeah, I think that they're going to use that tech for characters that aren't human, like the fantastical characters. Like, I think I could be wrong. I think the examples they used were McQueen, Wazowski, and Hades as what they're exploring. But part of me is like, why are you exploring this when you've already demolished Tom Sawyer Island? Like, feel like you should have decided that a while ago, but yeah. I digress. But yeah, I hope not. I feel like those might work for animatronics in the background more that aren't like so up close. Part of me fears that what's going to happen with those is right now looks super cool. Like you have the tears and the blood and the battle.
Yeah.
But like 5 years down the road, it'll be like, what's that?
Rough. Yeah.
I wish that they were just. It almost feels like a step backwards from where we are now with everything being articulated. I'm a little concerned about that one, quite honestly. I understand using it in a few cases. Like, if that's the only way to do Mike Wazowski because you can't articulate his face because he's just like this round circle, yeah. I get it. Yeah. If you have to do it with Hades because it's Hades and he's changing from blue to fire, like that's sick. I love that.
Oh, yeah.
But don't do it to Walt. Like, please, no. Please.
Yeah. No, yeah, I'm very curious how that's going to go about, because there was a lot of critiques about the movements were great, but his face got a lot of criticism, right?
Yeah. And even like Lightning McQueen, I feel like that's just the next step for Lightning McQueen, because if you think about Radiator Springs Racers, like his mouth is just digital, right? But it has like that little like color discoloration, but if you could do that for the entire thing, where there's no discoloration and you're projecting on the entire surface rather than internal, then that works too. So part of me feels like those characters that they're testing kind of playing around with, because that's all they're going to do. And I'm hoping that's the case, to where you're truly utilizing something where you have to do it, where you're kind of like, this isn't to standard of where we're headed. And then you just stick with the articulation for everything else. Because if I go on Piston Peak I will say, I really hope the name for that ride is Lightning McQueen's Off-Road Rally. I just feel like that's the perfect name for that ride. It's such an instantly recognizable character. Off-Road Rally sells the story.
Yeah.
Perfect, please. But we've already got confirmation that pre-show is going to feature Ranger J. Audubon, that new character. If they do a projected face to where it's more natural, to where he's talking during the pre-show, perfect. But when I go to Villains Land, like, I want to see these villains brought to life, like they've been ripped off the screen, you know? But again, like I said with Hades, like when he's in a transition from calm to rah, like there's no other way to do it. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
What else you can do?
Again,
Yeah,
like,
no, exactly.
this is stuff that's in Evolve, and that's why I'm kind of like, it's interesting that they just revealed this in a We Call It Imagineering episode, because like, I understand that that's the entire point, but that's stuff that I feel like they can make a lot bigger of a deal out of. Like, still feel like there's a lot of things there that I feel like we could even do an entire topic just talking about this, because there's so much in that episode that was mentioned, but everyone was focused on Olaf robot, Olaf,
Right.
and all this other cool stuff that normally would get its own spotlight didn't. So part of me is like, they should have held on to this until the Olaf hype was over, and then just caused another wave of news. But at the same time, they know there's going to be a lot of eyes on that video, so why not just include it? I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's happening, and that's all that matters.
Yeah. No, I love the fact that we have so much technology now that Imagineering can play with. And whether it be Olaf, whether it be this new projection mapping faces with the blood and the sweat and all that, it's like, and you're right, it's you have to go case by case with this stuff. Like, a lot of fans will get into this thing like, I don't want any screens. It's like, no, screens, no, screens play a role. Like, there is a time and place for screens. You can't really do a Star Wars ride without screens, you know?
Yeah.
But so there's a place for it, but you don't want to go overboard. You don't want to go like full universal with it. But yet at the same time, you want to utilize it where you can, you know? And so the projection faces, the screens, the living character initiative with the little Olaf stuff, all that has a role. But Disney just has to understand, like, okay, when is it appropriate?
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, I fully agree.
That's the big thing, you know? And I do feel like this Olaf stuff, there's so much potential. I mean, you could do Stitch, you can do, I mean, millions of characters you can do with this. And I can see them kind of diving into that, you know, where you have like some of these more, not necessarily like less human characters, where you can kind of have roaming around, you know, like instead of having like a 6 foot tall Olaf, you can have an Olaf that's like actually like Olaf size, right? Or a Stitch that's like a Stitch size, or, you know, I mean, there's a lot of potential. We'll see. You know,
there's an absurd amount of potential, and I do think that once again, I'm saying this because I don't see any other reality where Josh Tomorrow is not leading this company a year from now.
He will,
but yeah. I've even said this before with you, but I know that people don't always see everything we do. But again, I always come back to IAPA Expo 2021, coming out of the pandemic. Josh was talking to hundreds of industry leaders from around the world, and the main thing he highlighted was Disney's R&D breakthroughs. That was over 4 years ago at this point, and now we're just seeing them get to the point where it feels real. Like, you remember the little Hulk exoskeleton suit in Avengers Campus? It was cool, but it wasn't like that was never going to make it, you know. Right. Olaf has made it. Olaf will be at the parks permanently. So I just feel like once Josh has no one above him where he can just spend however much money he wants to on these things, why not? Because he clearly loves it. He's actually at research and development with these teams. I'm sure he has a passion for it himself as a person, and obviously as a leader, it's making the money. Otherwise, he wouldn't continue to do it. I just feel like there's endless potential there. And I've even talked to some people like that feel that they're going to go even stronger, to where, you know, the people in the costumes is like a thing of yesterday in the future, to where this is just the future of these characters. Like, there's no other way to see them except for in a way that they feel real, to where there's not a human being inside, you know, that can't talk to you, to where there is that 100% genuine interaction. So it's fascinating stuff, and I just think if they've done this much in 4 years, imagine a decade from now. Like, when Abu Dhabi opens, like what is going to be over there that they're flying people in to see just for that one character? It is especially when Abu Dhabi's funding it. Like, I guarantee you they're pitching them all these characters and like, we've been wanting to do this. We just need your money. Like, please, let us do
Oh,
it.
100%. And the
it,
Abu
makes, it
Dhabi
makes
thing
my
is a
entire
game changer.
body feels better just thinking about that because it's like so cool to think about.
No, I 100% agree with you. The Abu Dhabi thing, a lot of fans are missing the point with that, right? Because the fans go, "Oh, well, I'm never going to go to Abu Dhabi, so I don't care." That's not the point. The point is they're paying for that R&D though.
Yep.
We're going to be the benefactors of that research. Like that stuff is likely going to come here in some form or fashion. That's big. You know what I'm saying? That's really, really big. And I'm really excited about it.
It's a game changer. And also something that I've been thinking about too with Abu Dhabi that I just recently thought of is that the R&D, undoubtedly the biggest point. Fully agree with you. At the same time, I think if I go even further, there's been so much talk in recent years about Imagineering losing the veteran talent. Like Joe Rody, I know Joe's doing mentoring now, but it's different when he's not physically hands-on, you know?
Yeah.
Kevin Rafferty, Jason Sorrell, all these people who retired, or we don't know what the true story is if they were forced out, but they're not there anymore, you know, at the end of the day, at the bottom of the barrel. I think that this Abu Dhabi project is going to make this newer generation of Imagineers get that knowledge to where past 2031, we don't have that lack of knowledge anymore because they're going to be so hands-on with this park to where they're forced to figure it out. And that's the same DNA that Disneyland was built on. You know, you think about Bob Gurr, every interview Bob Gurr does, he's talking about how they were just thrown into it and expected to figure it out, and they did in 10 months. 10 months! Like, we're not talking right now without Walt Disney just expecting these people to figure it out. And they had no experience with it. So why in 2026 should I be worried about the future of Imagineering when we have this new talent? Yes, it's going to take them some time to build that up, but at one point, Kevin Rafferty was just washing dishes at Disneyland and he became one of the most influential Imagineers of all time. Who's to say that one of the kids at Imagineering right now can't become the next Kevin Rafferty by working on Abu Dhabi because it's being funded by the Morel Group? I think that's something to be said too. Again, if people have their concerns, okay, that's fine. I respect your opinion. You know, whether it's, you know, the LGBTQ stuff or you just want to go over there, I get it. I'm not going to speak against your opinion. You're allowed to have that opinion. I get it.
Absolutely.
But we're looking at it from a purely business perspective. You know, the reason why Josh Tomorrow made that choice, the reason why Bob Iger made that choice. Also, the fact that I think they're just trying to get ahead of the curve of what's going to happen anyway. If Disney doesn't do it, Universal's going to do it. So why let them take that from you? It's another thing too, like I strongly dislike generative AI. I hate it. I would go that far. But I don't like this Disney OpenAI deal. But of course Disney's going to take that deal and get their characters being generated in the way they want to and not have someone else come in and swipe that opportunity away. Like, it's almost like they're in defense mode sometimes, just trying to stay ahead of the curve to where Disney's still at the front of the game, and preventing their competition from taking those things away from them. Which, again, some people might not agree with, which is fine. But I do feel there's a reality to that, to where they just want to protect their characters. And I mean, they were already being generated before anyway, so why not officially have something to where you're getting that financial return? Like,
no, it makes sense. It makes sense because you're right. This is something that you can't put the genie back in the bottle, right?
Exactly.
This whole AI thing is happening. The train has left the station a long time ago.
Unfortunately,
you know? Yeah. Unfortunately, I agree with you. And Disney is like, okay, there's no use trying to fight the tide. It's happening, so we might as well invest $1 billion into this company, where at least we have a seat at the table.
Yep.
And we have a little bit of or even a lot of say so in regards to what they do with our characters. You know, I mean, pretending like AI isn't a thing and trying to pretend like, you know, that's not the answer.
Yeah,
it's here.
And, and part of me even hopes that like this 3-year deal that they've signed, I'm hoping that 3 years from now when this deal expires, that AI is kind of fallen off like crypto has, and that like this $1 billion is just like a 3-year thing to try to hold over until it fizzles out. I really hope it does fizzle out. I just dislike it. It terrifies me, quite honestly. I look at the $1.5 billion thing with Epic Games, and I'm like, this is so cool. Like, you're gonna introduce your characters and your parks to millions of kids around the globe. You're allowing for more artists to have jobs in the video game industry and all these developers and allowing them to have work. Like, I love that so much. And then I see the OpenAI deal and I'm like, But then I remind myself it's Bob Iger's doing it because he's trying to protect his company, which, whether you like him or not, I think he's done a damn good job running this company over the last 15 years or however long it's been.
Yeah, no, you have to evolve with the times, and
Yeah.
I always say that too, where it's like a lot of like old school Disney fans are like, well, I wish they would just get back to like just how they were in the 70s, Walt Disney Productions. I'm like, that version of Disney would not survive today. Like
No.
it would be bought out by Amazon. Like you
Yeah.
can't, it's not possible, I mean, you have to evolve. And honestly, even Walt, right? Like when Walt started Disney with Roy, it was just a cartoon studio and they didn't do live action until they did, right? And then they did theme parks, and then Disney has always been a company that has constantly pushed what it meant to be Disney,
Yep.
and when people say, oh well, Marvel isn't Disney or Star Wars isn't Disney, well, I mean, live action wasn't Disney either until it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
You have to move with the times, and
Yeah. It's fascinating if you really think about like how much has happened since he became CEO, how many
yeah,
things have changed, and how like just one man's hand and signing that paper can impact the entire planet.
yeah.
It is fascinating, but again, I know people are gonna be like, "Shut up about Epic Games already." I do think that how you're talking about the company evolving, like all these franchises, like I think that this digital world with the video game industry is that next step, and we're really just going to see that kind of start to spread through everything, whether it's Disney Plus, the parks, like. I don't know what they're going to do outside of that Millennium Falcon connecting to the thing, but there's going to be something big that drops here. Like, I would not be shocked if at D23 in August, there is 30 minutes at least dedicated to just Disney times Fortnite.
Oh,
I think it's going to be big. People are going to be like, oh, we're getting a 2 hour long panel. And be like, well, part of that might not be what you care about, but it's going to impact what you care about.
yes, big time, big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for the park side, for D23, I think for the park side, at least my expectations, and Disney loves to throw curveballs, and I could be wrong, but like I think for the park side, I think we're gonna get a lot of like fleshing out of current projects.
Yeah.
Because they announced, to Josh's credit, this last D23 in
We
2024,
don't need anything new.
we don't need anything new. They're not gonna give us another land or anything big. You know what I'm saying? I think we're gonna get, okay, these are details on Pandora at DCA. These are details for the Encanto attraction. These are details for Piston Peak, right? And
Encanto.
Encanto. Hey, there's that building is, dude, it's crazy how big that thing is getting already. I mean, they're moving.
Yeah, I was just talking to Jack at DSY Newscast earlier, and when he first got to the park, they were putting like this new section of steel on top of like they're kind of fleshing out the roof. And when he left, they'd already covered that entire part of the roof, like the entire width of the building. I'm like, in like 4 hours, like what?
What?
But that again, I know I keep repeating myself on these things, but I'm trying to hit the point home. Do not sleep on the Encanto ride. Do not sleep on the Encanto ride. This is going to be a damn good ride. I feel like everyone's like, oh, we're finally getting a new Indiana Jones, and like think about how cool Indiana Jones is at Disneyland, which again, that ride's going to be great too, because the first ride that Bruce Vaughn ever worked on at Imagineering was Indiana Jones. So he is very much making sure it's going to deliver.
Yeah.
And also just the fact that it's a 3-minute long ride. So it's not that hard to figure out a story there. I'm sorry. On the other hand, Encanto, I think, is going to be at least 6 minutes long, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to be at Animal Kingdom a lot in 2027. Be like,
Oh,
get me back on that ride again. Let's go.
let's go.
If there's one immediate thing that I ever want to do, I'm going to put it out into the universe now, is to reveal that ride on the Disney Parks YouTube channel with the cast of the film. Like, I want to host a YouTube video, take everyone through that. That is my magnum opus that I'm working towards, because I just feel like I'm seeing this path that is a very straight line to less than 2 years from now. And it's this ride blowing people away. They're like, whoa, like Disney still has that in them to deliver this classic, warm, welcoming Fantasyland style ride, but also balancing maybe a brand new ride system with all this technology, a long ride with physical, digital, this music, this atmosphere. And I'm just like, wow, like, it's funny, like they're doing all this work in Magic Kingdom right now, and I could care less. Like,
Yeah.
it's phenomenal to see that work happening, and I love how fast they're moving. Like all the lane clearing next to Haunted Mansion, I'm like, what is happening? Like, only they know what's happening right now. But then I walk in Animal Kingdom, I'm like, hello Encanto building, I love you already. And I know that the day that we get new concept art for Encanto, I'm going to be the happiest dude on this planet. I'm going to be on cloud nine. People are going to be like, are you high on drugs? I'm going to be like, no, I'm just overwhelmingly happy right now.
You're gonna change your name to Drew the Happy Dude.
Drew the Encanto dude, yeah. I'll be an honorary Colombian person.
Oh, I love it. I love it. No, I think you're right though. I think what the technology that we have, we talked about earlier with the Imagineers using every tool in their toolbox, whether it be projections, projection mapping, AAs, trackless vehicles, whatever. You can do so much with Encanto, going room to room and having like the rooms change and with the projection mapping and all this cool stuff, man. Oh my God.
If they take their findings from Mystic Manor, Times Runway Railway, Times Encanto,
over.
Pure magic. Everyone at Disneyland's gonna be like, it's funny, like Monsters Unchained opened at Epic Universe and Universal Hollywood's like, we want this, we want this. I have a feeling that Encanto is gonna become the next we want this. Like obviously Villains Lane is like the pole, you know. I don't know if the general family visiting Walt Disney World is obviously they're not going to care as much about Encanto compared to Lightning McQueen, Mater, and Maleficent. You know, there's no competition there. But when it comes to me and what like I go to Disney for, I always will find a ride every few years. Like the first ride I ever fell in love with was Splash Mountain. I love Splash Mountain so much as a kid that whenever I went to Walt Disney World, before we lived here, like we would fly here. If you remember the scene where Brer Rabbit had the thing on his shoulder and it said "Gone for Good," I hand sketched that out and put it on my door because for some reason I thought someone was going to come to my door and be like, "It's Drew," and it was our house. But I love Splash so much, and that was the first ride I ever fell in love with. And then Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, like when I started to like become fascinated with the construction, like, and also something that I think about is like back in 2012, I think a big part of why I love Seven Dwarfs Mine Train so much. One of my friends just asked me this recently. He's like, what made you follow Mine Train into Fantasyland? And I'm like, well, nothing else was happening. So as a kid who loved Disney and came to Walt Disney World all the time, that was the only project that was in the news cycle. So naturally I was drawn to that when, like www.magic.com was reporting on it at the time. And I was obsessed with it. And then Mine Train opened and then it just snowballed to now it's like, we get to cover this stuff. Like, these conversations, as I'm talking to you right now, we're going to be looking back on this in 2029. You know, it's fascinating. I think that far ahead, like I'm thinking 3.5 years from now, because the pandemic was already 5 years ago. Like this time is flying right now. And that's why when I'm thinking about Disney doing this 5-year plan, I'm happy it's a 5-year plan because it gives us things to look forward to. I already know when these projects open, everyone's going to be like, what's next? What's next? Rather than appreciating what has just been given to them. Though I will say, if Disney throws a massive curveball at D23 and we get some shock announcement for Walt Disney World that hasn't been announced yet, I wouldn't be surprised. Just something else to just keep Walt Disney World as this massive destination. I think everyone's like, oh, 5th theme park, Epic Universe. I don't think so. I think that their response to Epic is going to be some big surprise shock announcement that is great for the fan morale, is great for the guest morale, that just gets brownie points with the current leadership team, in addition to everything we already have. So that's my prediction for D23.
You know what? You might not be too far off with that, Drew. And a perfect announcement for something like that fits that criteria would be an all-new monorail fleet.
That would be sick.
An all-new fleet. There's brand new monorails ready to go.
You know what, man? This is something that I hate to say this. Like, I don't want to wish death upon anyone by any means, but I think Disney should realize that Bob Gurr is still alive and have him design a new fleet now.
Please.
If the man is able to, get him to design a new fleet of monorails, just save that design, and then once you do it, you honor him with that. I feel like the most beautiful full circle thing to honor Walt's legacy is to have the man that worked with Walt design a new fleet, even if we don't get it now. I would love if we got it now. But the reality is he's not going to be on this planet much longer. You know, even Dick Van Dyke. Like, I think that you get on top of that, you know. But that would be pretty cool. But I don't know what it is, you know, if it'll be like a reimagining, an expansion, a replacement. But I feel like Disney's response to Epic Universe is just another shock announcement. You're spending a lot of money, and it's something that, for the most part, is going to make people happy. To where you're not demolishing Tom Sawyer Island, but maybe just something that it's just like, oh, whoa, like just makes jaws drop, like the Villains Lane announcement. Maybe not that big, but something. I don't know. That's my prediction.
No, I love that. I absolutely love that, and I love your Bob Gurr idea because here's the thing: Richard Sherman. I mean, we kind of
Yeah.
had a little bit of that with Richard, right? He had that. We had that small world verse that
Yep.
he wrote, and
Which
we
is
were able.
beautiful.
Oh, it's so beautiful, and I love the fact they incorporated that into the attractions. And
Yep.
I would love to have something like that with Bob. And hopefully we have Bob on this planet for as
Yes,
long
please.
as possible. Please, please,
Please.
please.
Yeah.
We love Bob. He's amazing. But like you said, reality is reality. But like if when that day comes, it would be nice to have some sort of honor to him. Like, hey, you know what? We're doing a whole new fleet at Walt Disney World designed by Bob Gurr. That would be amazing. And ideas never really go away at Disney, right?
Yeah.
Even on that, I think it's the Disney Destiny with the Haunted Mansion bar.
Yeah.
A lot of those little elements in that Haunted Mansion bar were old Raleigh Crumb stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And
You
that's
know?
that's speaking about that. I love that Daniel Joseph is leading that Illusions team at Disney right now. He's just a wizard with this stuff, man. And I really think that he's kind of been handcuffed without Bruce Vaughn's leadership. But Bruce Vaughn, if you guys don't know, he restarted the Illusions development lab at Imagineering. So like Imagineering, that team is literally just dedicated to creating cool shit right now, and they're implementing it wherever it fits. So I think on this next wave of attractions, we're just going to see some badass effects because they can now. Why not?
Why not? Let's do it. Let's do it. Now that Wall Street Journal article, there was some Bruce Vaughn stuff in there, right? If I'm
There
not
was,
mistaken.
yeah. I
I
love
mean,
Bruce. Bruce is just like the most laid back, non-suit you'll ever meet at a company this big. Like, I think the story went that Josh reached out to Bruce for lunch, and Bruce thought that they were just going to be meeting. Like, Josh wanted like advice on leading the parks, and then he was like, "Hey, you want to come back and lead Imagineering?" And he was like, "Oh, like." He's just the most laid back dude. Like he has no filter. I say that as a compliment because he actually gives us some things,
right.
He's just so laid back. I love the dude. I'd love to interview him at some point. That's like one of my big goals is like, I just want to talk to Bruce for 30 minutes. Just no script, no talking points, just us talking, whatever comes out of it happens.
Yeah.
And just because I feel like for someone who's leading Walt Disney Imagineering, not enough people know about him. Like everyone knows Josh. Everyone knows Bob Iger. But people should know who Bruce Vaughn is. Like this is the guy that's empowering. Bruce Vaughn is the one who's leading Imagineering every day, not Josh.
Right. No, absolutely. And yeah, you're right. 100%. And the fact that I didn't know that, but the fact that Demaro reached out to him, had lunch, come back, that was great. And this gives me hope when it comes to Josh being CEO
Yep.
because he's picking one of the biggest, most important roles as CEO is knowing who to pick for certain positions.
Yes.
I mean, because you're not going to do it yourself. I mean, he's
Yeah.
he's the big dog, you know what I'm saying? So he's not going to do it himself, but he has to know who to pick, and he obviously picked the right guy. So I love that.
Yep. Yeah, I would love to know how that went. If he was just like, I would just love to be a fly on the wall of Walt Disney Imagineering for the day. Just like, what is the reality here? Like, is there even a reality, or is everything just so chaotic right now? They're just kind of figuring it out as they go.
Yeah.
They have so many projects in development, right? I don't know how. I feel like we're gonna see Bruce Vaughn's hair just turn gray.
I know, poor guy.
Godspeed to him. But
Yeah, no,
I do
100%.
trust him. I do trust him.
Yeah, no, me too. Me too. And yeah, he's done a great job so far. I love the fact they brought Rhodey back, even as a
Yeah,
consultant. I think that's important. You got to have that institutional
critical.
knowledge,
Yep.
bring it. Now, do you know, have you heard anything? Is Rhodey involved with DCA's Pandora in any way? Like, or is it kind of just more like, like like consultant stuff?
Yeah, I imagine he's consulting on it, like as an advisor. But I feel like the only official thing they've said is that he's just overseeing the Tropical Americas development.
Okay.
I imagine he has to be doing something with Avatar, but I feel like that whole Avatar project, something's just off about it. Like, we still don't know when Monsters Inc. is closing.
Weird.
They're not starting construction on like that new parking plaza entrance till this fall. Like, nothing makes sense timeline wise. I don't know. It's gonna happen. Like, Bob Iger clearly wants that project to happen. He
Yeah.
is, for some reason, adamant on putting Avatar at Disneyland Resort. I mean, I understand why. It's because it's made freaking billions of dollars. Like,
Yeah.
I just don't feel like you have to do Avatar for like this. plenty of other franchises I'd much rather see at Disneyland. But yeah, I don't know. I assume he has to be overseeing it though. Consultant. I have
Yeah,
has to.
he has to be. And you're right. It has been a weird, and I agree with you. I agree with you on both fronts where I think it's weird and it's going to happen. Like both things kind of exist where it's like the timeline's been wonky. Like we don't have,
Yeah.
like you said, we don't have a closing date for Monsters Inc. And we did initially, not a date, but like months ago, they said early 2026. But now they're not even committing to that. You know, and it's yeah, it's weird. And I don't know if it's like a Disney thing or if it's like a James Cameron thing. Because Cameron's kind of like, yeah, he's a little bit, I mean, he's a perfectionist and maybe he's demanding certain things that they have to kind of, or maybe they're just dragging their feet and waiting for Abu Dhabi to pay for it, Drew. You never know.
Well, speaking of Avatar, I thought the funny thing is that Disneyland Paris leaked that they're working on another Avatar land. Like I don't know if you saw that, but when they were doing the Disney Adventure World like press thing a little while back, they had like this like digital model of the barges for their nighttime show, right. And one of the branches said Navi. It's like, how do you leak that? Like Disneyland Paris isn't a Disneyland Paris, man. There's something about Disneyland Paris that they're going to be like the stepchild of Disney. Like, just like no matter what they do, there's always some shenanigans going on over there. Like I love that they're getting the Lion King, but how when you're talking about a Lion King land, do you leak an Avatar land?
It's incredible. It's incredible. Friend of the channel, Hey Bricky, who I love his content.
Yeah, Bricky's a good guy. He's a good dude.
I love Bricky. I absolutely love him. And he was at Paris about a month ago, I think, and he did like a whole like deep dive into like Disneyland Paris's Main Street. Oh my God, dude, this thing is insane. I was like, this Main Street is absolutely gorgeous, and during Christmas was even more beautiful, you know.
Speaking of Bricky, I will say I met him on closing day of Tom Sawyer and the Rivers of America, and just talking to him for like 30 minutes, like his thought process is he's just a smart guy. Yeah. And I think that's why he so artfully articulates his videos to where anyone can enjoy them because anyone can understand it. But again, that comes with IQ level and intelligence. Like we were watching I'll never forget this. It was a core memory for me. We were watching the final rafts ever come off of Tom Sawyer Island, like sunset, just like one of these, like, just soak it all in. This is it. And we were kind of talking about like the history of Walt's connection to Tom Sawyer Island and the Rivers of America and how he loves it at Disneyland so much. And he's like, yeah, man, like when I was first getting into this, I would just like read the newspaper for the day, but back when Disneyland was first opening. So if today's date, you know, we're recording this on January 19th, well, he would go back to January 19th at 1955 or 1956 or 57, see what the news is from that day, get that knowledge, and then think about how much has changed since then. I'm like, that is just a fascinating thought process, man. Like, I like to think outside the box, and I like to think that I know what I'm talking about, but I'm like, man, I would never think about going back in time to that day, seeing what reality was then, and then using that knowledge to impact what you're doing 70 years later. That is just, he's just on a different level with this content. And there's that one, I don't know, I forget the guy's channel, but on Instagram, there's this sound guy, and Bricky has done videos with him based on like the sound in the parks. And he was like, yeah, like right when you first get into Disneyland, like this is the dead zone because it's before you go into the theater. Then you walk into Main Street and you hear the music because that's the movie. And I'm like, holy shit.
Oh, like and that's, you don't realize that, right?
No,
like,
but Walt thought of this, like, And this is a small spoiler for Disneyland Handcrafted, but I didn't know this either, but 10% of Disneyland's plans were done when they started construction. 90% of Disneyland's plans were finalized after they broke ground, and it was completed in 10 months. What? In 1955? Yet in 2026, we can't get a damn Tiana animatronic to work? What?
No,
I
dude,
don't get it.
We can't even get an Eastern Gateway, dude. Our Eastern Gateway, that whole thing was approved like 2 years ago, and we're still nowhere. Like it's still a dirt thing, you know. It's crazy to me.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
I think there's a lot of, not to get too in the weeds with the money stuff, but I think there's a lot of fiscal foot dragging, over multiple physical periods where they're like they're dragging these things out, because right now they're doing they're doing Avengers, right?
Yeah.
So they're kind of waiting until this is kind of like that is kind of like gonna wind down, and then they'll start the next thing. They don't want to have too many in the same quarter, right? You can't do that, God forbid. So I think that's kind of what's going on here, but it's crazy. Now, real quick, Drew, before we go, speaking of like building and stuff, because Universal is crazy with the building. They have a whole different like perspective with that. But it's as of this recording on the 19th, Monday.
Yeah, we're before the announcement.
We're before the announcement. It's looking like you guys are going to get Fast and Furious, maybe over there at Universal.
Whatever. I was really pulling for Ghostbusters, but I will say, I guess the win for Universal Orlando with that is that means Supercharged is gone at some point. So maybe they're going to put Back to the Future over there, Ghostbusters over there. Yeah. But it's funny because like I'm surprised they're announcing it now. Like this coaster is probably going to open May or June of 2027, like a year and a half from us recording this.
Right.
And they're announcing it already. Like, whoa! But I guess the building's already gone vertical, so you probably should announce it.
Yeah.
Maybe they feel obligated to announce it because it's so prominent when you're walking into the resort. Like when you're in City Walk, you're walking over the bridge. You can clearly see this. There's something being built. So maybe they're just like, we have to announce this so people stop asking us what we're building. Yeah. I guess Velocicoaster was kind of the same way too. Like you're building it on the freaking waterway. We were talking pre-show about how impressive Hollywood Drift is. I mean, I think Velocicoaster is up there too. Like how they fit it, and let alone how fun it is. Like just an absolute masterpiece of a coaster. But yeah, I mean, hey, Universal, they really lean into these thrills. People like it. I respect the direction they're headed in. They've got I will say, like, yes, their construction speeds are very impressive, but they only have a few projects going on right now. I think it's a lot easier to build a coaster in a year and a half when that's your only big project. If Lost Continent had already been demolished and Great Britain was already gone vertical, I would take that back. But we're not there yet. So right now, it's just that's it. You just focus on that. But
no, you're right.
I'm not shitting on Universal by any means. I love Epic Universe. That park is stunning. I wish they were selling annual passes. I would have already bought one. But I do laugh a little bit when people are like, oh well. They've already got footers down for the coaster, and Monsters Inc. is just a concrete slab. I'm like, well, yeah, they just demolished 14 acres where Tom Sawyer Island and Rivers of America were. They're about to close Dinosaur, and Kanto is already gone vertical. Like they're building the Magic of Disney Animation, and Rock and Roller Coaster is about to close, and
all the cruise ships and all that.
Exactly. It's a completely different level and ball field in my opinion. But
no, you're right. Even like Hollywood Drift, which is amazing to. I've been watching it. And Hollywood, rise up, and it's really impressive.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's a coaster on a hill. It's not going to be the same level of immersion as like Encanto. You know what I'm saying? No. So yeah, I mean, you can probably knock that bad boy out a little quicker.
Yeah.
So.
But hopefully that opening date is announced soon. I feel like they probably want that open. Like when didn't Nintendo open early? I don't remember when it was. January.
It was around the same time as Toontown. We got our Toontown. It was January 2023, I think, ish.
Yeah.
January.
I feel like they're getting close to announcing the date for Hollywood Drift. I don't know.
Yeah.
It would have been fun if they announced the opening date for Hollywood Drift on the same day they announced the announcement for our coaster. Like connect it.
Oh.
But maybe there's still a lot of work to be done over there. Like they're still testing the spinning, and there's still a lot of dirt in the scream shields, and I don't know, but it's cool. I just like the Universal's doing more. Like just seeing there's a couple of the British guys I'm following that are following the UK development, and like they're just putting a fence around the side and they're losing their mind. I love that. The more themed entertainment we have around the world where people can experience these parks, the better. So.
Oh, dude, it's amazing. It's amazing. Like I go to Disneyland and I geek out. Oh man, construction walls for the Portos. Like it's a Portos. Who cares? But it's cool though,
Yeah. No, I didn't realize that Portos is like right next to DCA. Like,
it's like
you are pushing the bounds of what is downtown Disney, and I'm like, I don't know if I like that, but okay.
It's close. I mean, you can see the Soarin' building right there. It's close.
Yeah. I was like, oh, like we're pushing downtown Disney into the Esplanade. Okay.
Big time. And our Esplanade is looking pretty rough. They need to scrub that a
Hey,
little bit.
I can go to the Esplanade in Fortnite Disneyland Game Rush, and it's sparkling clean with no one there.
See what I'm saying? Fortnite's the future.
Yep, yep. Hey,
It absolutely
one day people will think I'm not crazy once this happens, and you can meet Peely at Magic Kingdom. All right.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think you're crazy. I do believe this gaming stuff is actually going to be a massive part of Disney's future. They've invested a lot of money into this Epic Game thing. Fortnite is huge. It's gonna be a thing. It's gonna be a thing. Yeah, people are sleeping on it. I agree, but and I already hear it too. I already know the fans are they gonna complain at D23.
Oh, it's gonna be hilarious. Yeah, when we get like a 5,000 square foot Fortnite pavilion at D23 this August, I'm gonna be like, oh my god! Everyone's gonna be like, boo! I'm gonna be like, more fun for me. Be like, what's up, Peely? What's up, Brad Bomber? What's up, Fish Stick?
It's happening. It's happening. Right. It's happening. But Drew, yeah, it's always fun nerding out.
I think this is the shortest conversation we've ever had, but we still covered a ton of stuff. It's funny, like an hour and 10 minutes is not a short amount of time by any means, but for us, that is somehow short. So I guess that's a testament to how much we can talk about.
No, 100%. I always love having you on, brother. I would love to have you back on very, very soon. If you could just remind everybody before we get out of here, where can everybody find Drew the Disney Dude?
Yes, this little text box right here, put that on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Threads. We're taking over. OG55 Drew the Disney 2026 takeover. Let's do it.
Let's do it. We're taking over, and I'll be doing like what we did last time with the YouTube collabo. So Drew's channel will be right there by the subscription button, so you can easy peasy lemon squeezy. You can subscribe to Drew. Check him out. Thank you all so much for watching this episode of OG55. Comment down below with all your thoughts on the Star Wars stuff, the Florida stuff, Disneyland stuff, Bruce Vaughn stuff, all that good stuff. Thank you for watching. Until the next time, see you later.
Thank you so much for watching OG55. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and become a member today.